You can fire me. I'm not coming to jobs. I'm playing golf.
I don't know my ass from a hole in the ground. You have to be smarter than the TV.
Continue with the next
Sometimes you have to be smarter than a Ziploc
Why do you
bag.
need all that? That's like if you showed up to play softball on my team and you wore jeans, you weren't playing.
Yeah.
I'd rather have you with no pants on. I want to be Hank Boyd.
Hank Boyd. We need Hank Boyd here in town to clean up our city council.
Oh, he would. Trust me. Yes, hello. Hey, it's another edition of Gamblenfin's Larger Than Live on this Monday, December 6th. How about that? Already December. We're counting down to Christmas and the holidays and another new year. Awesome. I'm Gamble. He's Finn. We appreciate you tuning in. Lots to kick around. Look, I'm wearing my championship gear.
Look at you.
See, look at that. Huh?
Homer.
My bear. Well, hey, I was there. That may be the last live sporting event I ever attend, but that's a whole other issue. Not that we'll get into that. We'll get into some Bearcats, but don't forget we do this each and every Monday. It's now we promote it on the Meta, and then we show it on the YouTube, and we are on Thursday night on WLW, The Reality Check, 9 to midnight as well this Thursday and next Thursday if you're marking your calendar, and if you are, you're a loser, but that's neither here nor there. So there you have it. Big weekend. Big football weekend around Greater Cincinnati. We had some high school state champions.
Yep.
Winton Woods, Clinton Massey. You got to love it having the Nads. You're down, you rally, you're down one, it's late, and you decide you go for the win. I love it. That's what they did. They went for two, had a chance to tie it, made a 2-point conversion, won their third state championship. And then, I love this too, later in that afternoon, Beechwood, playing the same team it played last year. Think of the irony of this. Last year, Beechwood won by one when they blocked an extra point in overtime. Same team this year. The kid made a 36-yard field goal that I swear to you was good by inches.
1 inch, yeah.
And they won by 2.
How about
so
that?
There you have it. So congrats to the state champions. And Baden made it all the way undefeated, got beat. But nonetheless, that's Thursday and Friday. Then we get to Saturday, the big Bearcats AAC championship. The big, could they close it out and become the first group of 5 team? They did in impressive fashion, I would suggest to you. We'll get to some of the pomp and circumstance surrounding the game.
They saved you $1, by the way.
They did. That's right.
You earned your $1 back.
I did. It's awesome. So it's even. I even had I needed to produce the $2 bill, which I got out just in case I needed to give that over to you, but I did not need to. So there we go.
I'm glad. I've never been more glad to be wrong. I really thought the committee would figure out a way to screw him, but you made up a great point, or made a great point about 4 weeks ago. There were still too many games for these top-tier teams to play against each other, to beat each other up, to move each other around, which is exactly what happened.
Well, had Oklahoma State won, which really, I mean, they were a couple inches away from winning.
Yeah.
I still don't know if they would have supplanted UC because of the way they would have. Now, they dominated, then you would have had but how do you keep out UC, the only unbeaten team now in all of college football?
In all of college football.
You can't. Right? And boy, Georgia. Oh, boy.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something that was kind of funny, too, because I called you, and I think the selection show had just started.
Correct.
And so you blew me off. And then, but I'm like, well, I'm going to watch this. And I think those guys knew, but they were trying to pretend like they didn't know because they kept saying things about UC.
I think
well, we don't know, but the graphics guys know. And
I think
they did.
I don't think they haven't known. I don't think all year, but I think you had to know based on common sense.
Yes,
I mean, I just think there was
that day too.
Correct.
They couldn't just walk into it completely blind. But I think it was Herb Street might have been the one that mentioned UC, and then Reese. What's his name? Reese Davis.
Reese Davis, says,
well, that's, we don't know.
And I got to tell you, they do have a good combination of talking heads. I mean, they really do. I mean, it's very enjoyable, but nonetheless, now the reward for that is you get Alabama.
Yes.
But you know what? So what?
So what? And they're without Mechie,
right,
with the torn
correct.
ACL, so there's in and of itself somewhat of a defensive advantage. But did you notice during the selection show when they were talking to Saban, he was this close? I mean, this was a weekend of inches where there was high school football,
no question.
The NFL, the college game, whatever. He was this close to actually having a personality. Did you notice that?
Yeah, and you know what? And I got to tell you, I know a lot of people don't like. I like him,
Saban,
and I like him for this reason. He is who he is. He never changes. And I'll tell you what, you cannot argue with that ridiculous success.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I mean, they were talking before the Georgia game about, Nick Saban's never been this much of an underdog before. And you're like, and I'll be honest, I thought Georgia was going to steam
absolutely
based on Alabama's recent performance. But my God, you would have thought it was flipped. Now, let's discuss attending a game, shall we?
Oh, this is a huge weekend to attend all sorts of games, every level, particularly at the NIP.
Yeah. Well, I would say I would have preferred it had folks only had a nip. Now, let me preface this. You know me well enough to know I'm not a prude. I love a beer like the next guy. Okay, I have never, and I'm gonna go way, way, way back in the day. I'll never forget this. Went to Reds opening day back at it was probably Riverfront Stadium before even Synergy Field. Had horrendous seats, second and third row from the top. I'll never forget this. And here came Fred. And the dude's always around me. We'll fast forward to Saturday momentarily. So here he comes, a couple guys with this one guy, shirt off, naturally.
Yeah.
And he was absolutely smashed. Now, we're talking, I think I got there about an hour before the game because pomp and circumstance, right?
Sure.
He literally, it was like a NASCAR race. He literally would point from this side and follow people walking to that side. He was yelling. And I told the guy, I can't even remember who I was with at this point. I said, you do realize like this guy's not going to make first pitch.
Right, and he's going to fall down these vertical stairs.
Well, he didn't fall down the steps because they never let him get up.
Oh.
He was passed out, sound asleep. But ever since then, I never understood why. We used to do a bunch of remotes. I know you did too, early stuff in the morning. You could identify people quickly and go, that person won't see 10 a.m. That person won't see noon. I don't get that. I'm all for having a few beers, celebratory, after the game, whatever. But I guess I don't understand adults who get to the point of what I saw Saturday. So here we go. We're in the seats. I bought club seats.
Okay.
In theory, you would think they were affordable, right? So you get the inside club, but you get your outside seat. So we're on the end.
And it also might filter out some of the proverbial raff.
Maybe. So here, all of a sudden, right before kickoff, here comes Jim. We'll just call him Jim. I don't know what the hell his name was. I knew what his name is. Hope I never see you again. So he came in with his buddy, sat down. Of course, there were 6 seats in the row. He had the 2 on the other end. He sat right next to us.
you. Sure, of course.
Okay. So I knew it was going to be a problem when he started with this on the opening kick. We're going to run this. Come on, run that bitch. I'm like, oh, boy. Here we go.
Oh, boy.
This guy drank beer. Then he went to wine. Then he went to shots. Then by this point, I had moved inside behind him, good view, and watched him get up with his full glass that he tripped, sprayed it all over the glass that was out in front of us. And finally, I think the guy in front, here's what I don't get. And he wasn't the only one. I can't imagine into the night. And I know the tailgate lots open at noon. It was a 4 o'clock kickoff. I get that. And I'm all for tailgating. I have no issue. Tailgating's fun. It's cool. I get all that. But I think it's football. And I really think I stopped going to NFL games a long time ago.
Yeah.
Because I can't say it. Not only that, people are so damn dumb to listen to people yelling. So I'm like, you don't even, they're bitching early in the first. Like, Houston is good. You're not playing like a junior varsity here. Like, they're going to get first downs.
This is the championship game.
Well, and then I even said to the guy I was with, I'm like, here's the problem now. Now suddenly UC's Alabama. Now they want no first downs. They want 40-point wins. Just enjoy this.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, walk around that club at halftime, oh, my God. It was like just a sea of blitzkrieg people. I don't get, again, I like beer.
Yeah.
I love it. I don't get that.
Well, and we've seen this both in sports. I mean, and my parents used to, God forbid, they had season tickets to the Jacksonville Jaguars in their formative years. And they moved to a family no booze section.
Right.
And I know a lot of stadia have done that, where there was no alcohol sold in this section because there were people that just couldn't stand taking their kids and having them subjected to that exact behavior.
The issue isn't even because I think, and I guess most people, somebody said this to me, might have been my lovely wife, said, well, you got to drink beforehand because you can't afford it in there. I mean, look, here's what I know. When I'm driving into the parking garage and looking at the back of a hood, and this is on like level 4. First of all, I'm not tailgating inside a parking
in a garage. Right.
I mean, that to me, but when I see like 30 Busch Light cans on the back of a trunk, I go to the dude I'm with, I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Like I said, we've seen it in sports, and we've seen it. I mean, how many times have you been to a show,
Oh,
mostly the outdoor shows, where Fred is just face down in his own
Right,
puke before
right.
the opening act is even on? It's like, thank you for your money, you dumbass.
Put a little buzz on, have a little fun.
Right.
I went to the Notre Dame UC game. Lori and I went up there this year, and I got to tell you, I didn't see any of that. I mean, there were tons, and I mean tons of people outside, tons of massive coordinated tailgate parties. But I didn't see what I saw. And I'm not condemning you. You can't blame the university. It was so cool. The win, the people on the field. But listen to this one, Fred. Ran into a police officer. She was outside the stadium. When we were leaving, she goes, "Oh boy," I'm paraphrasing, but I'm close. "This is going to be a nightmare tonight." She said, "You want to know the sad part? The students aren't the issue.
Yeah.
It's the adults."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because the students will get filtered out, if they're trying to go to the bars, they don't have the right ID. They'll end up going to their houses and having big parties and whatnot.
Right, sure.
It's the adults who don't want to carry that party over to Martino's or the dive bar or any of the places up along the other strip over there who come in, and then they become, and this goes right back to where we were when we talked about venue operation.
Yeah.
Keep the problems on the sidewalk. And unfortunately for that officer, it becomes her problem.
Oh, yeah.
Once it cuts in the bar or into the stadium, which is the other thing, they need to be able to filter that out before it even gets into the stadium so it doesn't become a problem in the stadium. But it's just emblematic of everything that we've talked about. People don't know how to do anything anymore and use their head for more than a hat rack or their brain for more than just something to keep their head from rattling when the wind blows.
If you watch the NFL games on TV and they pan frequently to people in the stands, you can easily identify and pick out, man, look at that person.
Yeah.
You can find them in the section. Now, I got to tell you, the thought of UC and football actually making a college football playoff is I mean, for anybody who's watched a ton, it's unbelievable. And I wonder this. You know how people go to Las Vegas, and they always like to try and make that hometown wager. Well, I guarantee you, you could have put something down on a team to win the national championship. You know somebody. We're going to hear about it. You know somebody. I mean, it's good. What do you think those odds would have been? And I need to find that out before our show Thursday.
On UC?
What would have been the odds for the University of Cincinnati prior? I know they were in the top 10 preseason, but to actually win it all, what do you think those would have been? They would have had to have been
400 to 1.
Yeah. And imagine if you just said, you know what, I'm putting 100 on that, or even 10, whatever.
But after the Georgia game, had the Georgia game not been the way that
last
it was,
year,
it would have been higher.
Correct.
Even.
Correct. I just wonder.
Even the selection committee talked about the fact that you don't usually take a body of work from the previous year into consideration, but you had to with UC, and I'm sure that's what they did to continue justifying the choice. But, and I mean, it was kind of funny to see Ohio State pop up at 6, Notre Dame pop up at 5. It's sort of it was a little karma, I think.
Right. And I tell you, though, it's funny. I do a little call-in thing about football on a station on Friday mornings. And last Friday I said, now, it would be very Cincinnati-like if UC somehow stumbled and the Bengals lost. Because I said you've got this great. So half was true. And I got to tell you, yesterday was brutal.
Yep.
Brutal.
It was the game that should have been played the week before. But I sat and watched 3/4 of the Steelers game later. I'm like, well, they clearly haven't learned a thing since then.
That game was tough to watch, too.
It was, but I think it was the first time you saw Samuel Lamar Jackson get rattled at all. And at the end of the game, I don't think they wanted to play overtime because they knew they probably would lose in overtime.
Well, I love the 2-point conversion going for it, though. I love that. I love if you're going for the win, and now the Bengals, despite the loss yesterday, really didn't hurt them. I mean, in terms of where they find themselves hosting Baltimore, they still have to play Baltimore twice.
Yeah.
And they find themselves in a good situation.
Well,
so,
they can thank the Steelers. Yes, that's why I posted something. I said it's going to be an interesting group of people cheering for the Steelers today. And everybody's like, "Oh, they suck." And I'm like, "You need them to win. Shut your pie hole." And to beat up on them, which is what happened. I'm looking here. Cincinnati right now is a plus 1,200. for the national championship.
I mean, that might be worth taking a shot. I mean, again, if you want to root, they say don't do it with your heart, but you can do it. I mean, I don't know, when you only have 4 left.
Yeah.
I
was trying to find it at the beginning of the season, though. I can't.
I have not seen the opening odds for the UC Alabama game. I haven't seen it. I would suggest to you Cincinnati is probably a 10, somewhere low double-digit underdog. I would think with Alabama. I would have to believe it would be somewhere around there. I mean, again, like I said,
yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm seeing odds. I'm not seeing.
I haven't seen it. Maybe they haven't. I mean, it's early. Usually they, that's the thing they want to get to rather quickly. But anyway.
But again, it is in the evening, and those odds are probably just now being posted.
Correct. Yes. Hey, it's Gamble and Fin. It's Larger Than Live. We do this again each and every Monday, 7 o'clock on the YouTube. We promote it on Meta. You can check it out, Gamble, capital N, Fin. That's all our social. And also, we're on Thursday nights on 700 WLW, the reality check, 9 to midnight.
Yeah, we're doing this Thursday, 9 to midnight, next Thursday, 9 to midnight. Then the following Thursday, 3 to 6. You go to Gamble and Fin on the Facebook.
Yeah, you have
page.
a nice grid. You have to change it now, though.
A little grid. Oh, yeah, I got to take off New Year's Eve. We got bumped by the
UC.
The Alabama. Yeah, UC
Alabama
game.
UC game, which is the double dip of
I'm
the
fine
two.
with that.
Absolutely.
I'm absolutely fine with that. And we're going to be doing Christmas Eve together. Is that right?
I do believe I've been given the authorization. I didn't
really. Are you going to join us for that?
I haven't asked her that yet.
Oh.
But I don't know. She's probably going to be making, probably going to have to be sneaking and wrapping all of my gifts.
Is that what it is?
My guess, that would be.
She
laughs out loud.
How do you wrap that?
Right. You just put a bow on it, I think is what you do. You just put a bow on it.
Oh, goodness. Well, and thanks to our friends at Field Collective. They've got lots going on over the holidays. They are sort of an unofficial, official partner of the show here, a place for you to go find some office spaces, particularly in the new year if you don't need your own office. So I know you've been over there and hosted quite a few meetings. I need to go over there and take advantage of the cocktail hours.
I was going to say, you can have an early meeting.
Yeah.
But just with yourself.
Right, exactly.
Right.
I'll meet with Jim from the UC game.
You know what? My guess is if he has a membership, he's there now. He's there now, and he probably isn't going to make it till early afternoon.
Oh,
but we do have a lot.
But it is the evening right now. So
my bad. I sometimes forget, and I get my AMs and PMs really confused. Yeah. But between now and the end of the year, we are going to talk a lot about Christmas, about the holidays, about shopping, about the new year. Here we are again. I wish can we find our last radio show or Larger Than Live from last year where we talked about what we were going to do in 2021. I bet you I have a very, very low batting average.
Yes. I'm going to say you're not putting up Hall of Fame numbers, while I, on the other hand, may be batting 400.
You think?
Maybe 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10?
I think I probably hit 4 out of the 10 things I said I wanted to do.
Do you think I'm still looking for my first hit? I may be.
You might be still looking at ball 9.
I have another question for you that I don't want to. I'm not going to do it today.
Okay.
But I have a question for you about young people today who are trying to craft their future.
Okay.
Right? And I'm going to give you my philosophy and what I tell young people, and I want to hear yours.
Okay.
It's simple. I mean, it's funny because I told Lori this earlier today. We were talking. I do a lot of speaking while I'm in the shower. I don't know whether anybody outside is listening because normally no one's even anywhere around. Because as soon as I say I'm getting a shower, I see people just leave the house.
Wait, you talk to yourself in the shower? That's where you do your best thinking?
I do.
Talk?
I come up with sometimes. Fidge is out there. Fidge listens.
Yeah, right.
I do. You don't talk to yourself ever?
And not in the shower.
But other places?
No, I talk to Calvin sometimes.
Well, that's no different than talking to yourself. Now, do you speak things like do you talk to him about things that he has no idea what you're saying ever? But I mean, really, except a couple key words.
Well, I'll say a couple things to him just about, are you good? Do you have to go to the bathroom?
Right,
but it's all about the tone of voice, not what I'm saying.
It is. No, it's about yes. But do you ever say like, man, I hate that person, something like that?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, are you kidding me? Last night during the first 3 quarters of that Steelers-Ravens game, he heard every word that begins with F I think I've ever learned.
And including Freifogel? No, he's not on this. What's his name?
Freiermuth.
Freifogel's the Indiana receiver.
Freiermuth, they finally figured out they can throw to him legally more than 2 times a game, whatever. I'm not even going to talk about it.
Does he listen, though, Calvin? Does he look away?
He's so dumb.
When you're watching Pittsburgh, does he go, I'm out of here? Does he go to the back of the house?
Missy did. She laughed.
Did she really?
She came up for a part. We went and got some lunch.
She watched the first quarter and said, hey, call me later.
No. She didn't even make it to the end of the Bengals game. She goes, if this is how you're going to be at the end of this game, I can't even imagine what the Steelers game. She goes, I hear Dory calling me. So she went home.
Okay, good. Well, I'll tell you what, she's smarter than I thought.
But I called her at the end with the good news. She could care less. And, it is what it is.
Well,
but no, I will jump up. I do scare him sometimes.
Do you?
Because I'll jump up and like, what the, and that kind of thing. So
we're going to have a lot of, going into the end of the year here, we're going to have a lot of our philosophies to lay on people and see what they think.
Yeah. Well, we also have to do some predictions because I think we
do
do some predictions last year, and I'm sure none of them
we
actually
did.
came
See, that's what I mean. It doesn't do us any. It's kind of like, it's like what you said with the politician after they're voted into office.
Oh, yeah.
To take all of what they were going to do and see how many of those get done. We need to do that.
I still have my list of things Papaw was promising.
Okay.
So we'll get to that here.
Okay. Yep. See how those things are coming along.
Yeah. Once he's out and they've found somebody else to take his place that isn't her, we'll get to all that as well. Something that I'm hoping happens in the new year because again, we're still trying to figure out 2020. And then we're 3 weeks away from 2022.
Right, correct.
It's like 2021 didn't even happen.
No, you're right.
Really
in some ways, you're correct.
The blip year. But what I am kind of hoping is that people somehow in 2022 are able to live outside themselves. So some self-recognition. So Jim doesn't show up completely shit-faced, before the game even starts or start talking inappropriately. Or
you mean care about things around them,
having some sense of that there's other things going on around them that aren't them.
I'll give you that.
On the way over here today, again, on the way over here, almost every single time I see something that I find it hard to believe, whether it's somebody running right up my ass on the highway or somebody doing this. Today, is it 18 that comes
18, Route 18, that's
correct.
I'm
coming this way, and they're going that way, and I hear a siren, and I'm like, okay, where's that come from? I look ahead, and coming the direct opposite up there by Kroger, there's an ambulance, full screaming sirens, full everything. Everyone is just sitting there. They're just sitting there. No one's moving off
to get over
off to anything to let them get past. Get through. So the ambulance had to go down into the median and up around. Does no one understand right for sirens and lights? Do they not teach that anymore? Because I'm thinking to myself, and this is where my head goes. I'm sitting there going, this is just. It's unbelievable that you just sit because you're probably texting. You're like, where's that siren? Oh, right behind me. Oh, they went around. Okay, good. If that was an ambulance for someone in your family, or you were in that ambulance and you didn't make it by 30 seconds because the people in front of you were so self-absorbed that they didn't even remember what to do when that comes through.
Right.
All I can hope is that maybe we're past that, but I really don't think so. And you talked about meta a moment ago. We're creating the metaverse that's going to be even more self-absorbed than we already are. Especially if you're one of because you've seen the commercial, right?
I have.
The future is Meta, which apparently is for Guatemalan teenagers. So yay! So enjoy that. But the self-absorption, and I know this might sound ironic coming from me, but I don't understand how we're going to continue to exist this way. I really don't.
Well, we will. It'll just be not a way that we would prefer to exist. You missed the big scene over here on Saturday night.
I saw the reports.
The big SWAT.
Sure.
You talk about bizarre. They had the helicopter where they were shining the light down so those on the ground could see because it was literally a standoff. And, man, those are scary situations. I mean, but boy, at least that, I guess, it got resolved, as well as it could have.
Yeah. Well, and all the circumstances, and your favorite thing happened, too, because I was watching, it was right after the UC game.
Right.
Because they were coming ready to breaking news with this thing. They wanted to talk about UC, but they had to do breaking news. And so there's Felicia. She's standing out in front of
dark, pitch
nothing,
dark.
in the dark, in front of nothing with police lights behind her. She goes, well, you can't see anything now, but a few hours ago you couldn't see anything then either. But I was still standing here. So here's a bunch of police lights. I might as well be standing in front of a green screen talking about what happened. But again, it was like now maybe we'll get to see if they brought that guy in. We'll get to see someone stand outside the courthouse that isn't open and talk about what happened in there earlier in the day.
I've never understood that. And trust me, no one who's a viewer ever goes, man, I can't believe that this station wasn't out there standing in the dark with no one behind them, with nothing going on. I love that in sports. They're down at Paul Brown Stadium at 6 a.m. Why? I mean, seriously.
Well,
why?
again, and you're getting rid of so many people, camera operators and all these other things. You see these reporters now carrying their own cameras.
Oh,
I mean,
it was funny.
There are very few that still have a camera operator with them.
It was funny. One of the local
Videographer, I'm sorry.
One of the local sports reporters who did a live hit from Canton, Ohio, before the Winton Woods game. He was talking with it, and the field was behind him, and he didn't have anybody with him, had the camera set up, and he goes, "Ooh, that was close. A football almost hit my camera." Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
I mean, it would have knocked it over, knocked him off the air. That's just, I mean, I can't imagine when you think about the way that used to be in the fun, and you go up with a videographer and you do this. Man, today, people have no idea how much work and effort those dudes put in.
Right.
Now,
versus what they used to do, which was still a lot of work to get a quality product on the air. But our buddy Eric Cross from Channel 5, we see him out and about, and I know you've seen him. If you've ever been out to anything that's newsworthy, you've seen Eric out there. He's a very distinctive look, cool cat. But the funny thing is, now he goes out and sets up the camera and just asks the questions and puts the mics out. He's not on camera, but he's running the function of the B-roll or whatever.
Well, they do that like when we've had news conferences for some of the events we do. That they'll, the person who's the reporter will say, "Hey, sorry, can't be there, but I'm sending a videographer." Many times they'll go like, "Hey, man, would you mind helping?" You've been down to our Showdown VIP kickoff party at the 4th and Sycamore Skyline. They'll come in and they'll be like, "Hey, what coaches are here? Can you help me out?" I mean, and sure, that's what we do.
That's what you're there to do.
But I feel, that's just not the way it once was.
No, and we talked to Popovich when he retired, and he came in the studio in LW and told, and you could see it in his eyes. He was glad to be done.
Oh, I think
he was tired of having gone back to the beginning.
Well,
and
there's going to be somebody else we talk to frequently who, in the not too distant future, I don't know when that is, he'll be done as well.
Yeah, well, I think he's been done for a while.
I mean, maybe.
But he's going to physically.
That's for interpretation.
Elvis will leave the building, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
all right.
I do believe that, yes.
Well, I was going to get into our tips for keeping warm this winter, but it's going to be 65 by the end of the week. So
it is again?
We'll say, I think it's going to be raining, but in the 50s and 60s by the end of the week.
We got plenty of time for that. We're going to give you all sorts of holidays, New Year's, baking, decorating, the things we love to do.
Yes. Yeah.
We're going to get you ready to host your big family Christmas.
Absolutely. And if there's been one keyword for the entire year for the two of us, whether it's been the radio show, baking, getting dressed for the weather, it's layering. I think that is the number one word for this program. Well, it's not the number one word. It's the number one we can say with regularity.
Right, correct.
But I think layering, because we are multidimensional and we have so much to offer on so many levels.
We do.
That I think layering will be the key to how we wrap up 2021. So I'm still writing 2020 on my checks.
It's going to be fun, though. I did that once and had to go, and then they bitched at me for crossing out the zero and putting a one. I'm like, what do you mean? I don't want to waste the check.
I haven't written a check since my daughter turned
I do.
18.
I do. I'm a check writer, my man. I'm not giving in to this modern-day bullshit. I'm not giving in.
Oh, man. All right. We need to wrap it up. We're going to wrap up this edition. I don't need, is this episode 6? Season 3, episode 6? 5?
Something like that.
5?
And let me preview something I'm going to talk about on Thursday night.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about, I tried to get on the phone today. You know that thing you call people on and no one answers on the other end. And I tried to speak with someone. I'll just leave it at that. I'll go from there Thursday
Very
night.
good. All right, outstanding. We're looking forward to this Thursday, next Thursday, and a handful of other dates doing 3 to 6 on 700 WLW. Yep. Again, here, smash the subscribe button. Share the wealth. We look forward to, if you have anything you want us to talk about, throw it in there. We had one that was suggested a few weeks ago, but I think by the time we got to it, we count back on. I think the time had kind of come and gone on that one. But if there's something you want to hear us spout off on, or you want to spout off, go right ahead. We're more than happy to have you along for the ride.
And also Thursday night, we're opening up the phones, and I want to find out from people what is this insatiable desire to get plastered and act like a complete boob at sporting events? What caused this movement?
It's selfishness, Fred. It's selfishness. I am going to become everyone else. I have my ticket, and I am now your problem. It goes way, way back. This is my ticket to be your problem. And if you can't keep it out on the sidewalk, it's going to affect the other people in the building. It just is.
So we'll find out. All right. So there you have it. Tune in Thursday night, 9 to midnight, and also every Monday night right here on YouTube, as you mentioned. It's Gamblenfin. It's our larger than live. And as I like to say, we are out.